and hear me. If you can't, put a comment down in the side, because there's obviously a problem, but there don't seem to be any comments like that at the moment. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Matt Poynton, and I'm a projects officer with Union from the TUC. And today we're going to be talking about mindfulness. So if you've come here for something else, you're probably in the wrong place. So what we've got over the next 45 minutes or so is I'm going to be giving people a bit of an introduction to mindfulness. But before I do that, a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, we are going to try and finish our after 45 minutes this time, because I'm actually doing another session with Unite the Union later, and I don't want to be late for them. So normally I stick around a bit more for questions, and I apologize that today that's probably not going to be possible, though I'll try and field a couple of them. Also, I want to talk about, obviously, we've had a little bit of a break with the webinars, and I certainly have, because I've been away, so I'm a bit out of it. But we are going to continue offering stuff online. There's going to be some of these mindfulness sessions that aren't a big webinar like this, but are smaller, more focused, so people can interact more. So if you do like this, that might be something you want to sign up for. We've also got coming up, and I'm not exactly sure of the precise dates, and I'm sure Yusuf, who's in the background doing the tech stuff, he can put them up for us. There's a festival of learning coming up, and that'll be going over about a period of a month, and there'll be loads of different online learning stuff, mental health stuff like the mindfulness, like, some of the other mental health interventions we've talked about, but also, and it's not a very nice thing to talk about, but, economic prospects aren't good at the moment because of the COVID-19 crisis and coming out of it. And so we will be doing some online learning to support people, perhaps with CV writing, job applications, that kind of stuff. Wish that was not on the cards, but at least we can try and respond to what's most likely going to happen there. Also, the Union and Conference is happening, and again, that, Yusuf, if you could put the date, that would be great. It is going to happen online this time, so it's not going to be the usual one where we'll go down to Congress House, unfortunately, which is a shame because I rather enjoy those. But yeah, we will be having an online conference this year, and I think that's in November. And like I say, that will appear on the side. I'm just looking at some of the names. Loads of people I know. Mary O'Brien from Aegis. Hi, Mary. I know you had trouble logging in before, so glad that's sorted. Herma, hello. Linda, Staffordshire Union. Oh, Linda, I'm probably not very far from you. I'm in Stoke-on-Trent at the moment. So, yes. And Dr. Maurice Charlton from wet and windy Yorkshire. Yes. So, it's pretty wet and windy here, actually. It's quite miserable. But anyway, that's that. Let's go on to the mindfulness. Now, normally when I do this in smaller sessions, I ask people if they have any previous experience of mindfulness, if it's something they've tried before, but we don't really. It's not really possible to do that with almost 200 people, which is a shame, because I like to know where people are coming from. But what I generally find with the sessions is we have a lot of people who've never tried it before, but they've heard the name and wondered what it was. And we usually have a smattering of people who actually are almost quite experienced with mindfulness, and they may be mindfulness practitioners themselves. So it's quite hard to cater for everyone. So what I'm going to stress is what I'm going to do today is an introduction to mindfulness. It's a taster session. And then it's something that if you feel, yeah, that works for me, then you might want to take it further. And we can signpost with that. Of course, if it isn't, okay, well, you tried it, at least you know what it is now. And so that's what we're going to do today. Now, I normally try 6 exercises. It's probably going to be more like 4 or 5, depending on how the time goes. And these are pretty basic, standard mindfulness exercises, yeah? So what is mindfulness? Well, the best demonstration I can think of is this here, and this is my glitter jar. So it's got a load of glitter with water in, and you see if I shake it around, everything's whizzing around all over the place, yeah? And that is your mind. And the idea behind it all is that you've got all these thoughts, all these ideas, all these pressures, all these jobs to do, worries, whatever, and they're all banging around in your mind like the little bits of glitter in this jar. And we never have time to properly sit down and just take stock and let things settle and almost be able to see the wood from the trees, as it were. And mindfulness exercises are a way of doing that. They're a way of calming ourselves, and they're a way of perhaps gaining a little clarity. Yeah. So some people say, well, are they religious? Well, mindfulness exercises perhaps did stem originally from Buddhism, but I don't think you have to be religious to do mindfulness exercises, and I don't think you have to be of a particular religious tradition. I mean, I'm not a Buddhist. I do follow religion. Well, I'm not a Buddhist, and I don't see any conflict there. And I know lots of atheists who do it, and and I know Buddhists who do it. So I think I think that's the relationship. It may have stemmed from the East originally, but mindfulness is actually it's very secular in that it doesn't preach a certain creed. But it may be that if you find some of the exercises helpful, you might want to look into a meditation course, for example. And as we see, if we do let things settle and we let things calm down, if we look at my jar now, it's separating out, and all the glitter's going towards the top, and we're starting to be able to see through the water a bit at the bottom. And if I left that for a good hour or so, that water would be so clear that we can see through things. So that's the principle behind mindfulness. I've talked enough about that. We're going to go into the main exercises. So to do the exercises, they can be done sitting down or standing up if you fancy. But if you are going to sit down, get a nice comfortable posture. I can't really demonstrate it here because of how the table's set out, but get a comfortable posture. But try and keep your back quite straight. And if your legs are crossed, uncross them, because that does restrict the blood flow. And try and get your feet flat on the floor if you can. And lower your shoulders. Keep them relaxed. We're not here on parade. Yeah. So, okay. Now that we're ready, let's try and get the tech right. So I am going to try and show a PowerPoint with you. Let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, so everybody should be able to see the PowerPoint, and it's got somebody looks like they're meditating next to a lake or the ocean. So if you can't see that, put a comment in the box, and then Yusuf can pick it up and he can try and work out what's gone wrong and let me know, because I can't see your comments whilst the PowerPoint's on. Hopefully you can see me. And Yusuf, if there is something, just break in with the mic and let me know, because I'm not aware if anything's going wrong at the moment. Okay, so here we are. And the first exercise we're going to do is a mindful breathing exercise. Now, breathing, these are really one of the two standard mindfulness exercises. This is any mindfulness course that you go on, breathing exercises are pretty much a starting place, which is why we're starting with it. It says the exercise can be done standing up or sitting down. I say most people will probably be sitting down. I am. And what we're going to do, we're going to focus on our breath. And the way that mindfulness works is, if we go back to the glitter jar with all those thoughts bouncing around, it's because most of our lives we operate on autopilot. We do things and we can't even recall doing them. I mean, think about how many times have you driven to work, and then when you've got there, you can't actually recall the journey you've done because you were operating on autopilot. Which, let's be honest, when we're driving, is not always a bad thing. It means we're alert to dangers. But sometimes we need to step back and actually become aware of the things that we're doing all the time that are happening in our lives, but we don't realize it. And the most fundamental of those is breathing. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit down, get comfortable, and close your eyes. And we're going to start by breathing in and out slowly. So breathe in and breathe out. In, out. In, out. And each breath cycle should last for approximately 6 seconds. So we breathe in, 1, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, in, out. Breathe in through your nose. And as you're breathing in, feel your breath enter your body. Feel how it's quite cool on the tip of the nose. And as it goes down through the roof of your mouth, down into your abdomen, and then your belly, filling you full of life. Feel that breath enter you. And then when you breathe out through your mouth. Feel the breath on the lips, cooling them, as it goes out and dissipates into the world. When you're breathing, let go of your thoughts. When a thought pops into your head, doesn't matter, it's not bad, it's normal. Thoughts do that. But get rid of it. It's unimportant. It's irrelevant. And each time, go back to concentrating on your breath. Let go of the things you have to do later today. Those projects that need your attention. Just let those thoughts rise and fall of their own accord. And then always return back to your breath. Watch your breath. Become aware of it entering your body and filling you full of life. And then watch as it works its way back out again into the world. And then, when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to us. So, normally when I'm doing this session, I make sure that everyone's back and we discuss how that was for each other. As I said before, the problem with this webinar concept is when you've got 200 people, that's quite hard to do. So what a lot of people find is it's relaxing, and it is really the first step on mindfulness. And also, of course, if you never thought you could meditate. It's the first step towards meditation. Now, I've done this in various workplaces across the country, and I've had some interesting comments off people. I mean, I remember once I was in HMRC in Canary Wharf in London, and there was a guy who said, oh, well, you're doing it wrong because you're meant to breathe in for 3 seconds, hold your breath for 3 seconds, and then breathe out for 3 seconds. And it's not that we're doing it wrong. It's just there are different breathing exercises. So it could be that this one doesn't do it for you. And that's okay. But, you know, try the holding your breath one. There are different ones. There's somewhere we breathe in for 3 and out for 5, for example. Find something that works for you. And that is a key with mindfulness, because it's not just the exercise, but it can also be the person who's delivering it. I mean, some people might find my voice really relaxing and helpful. Other people might find it grating. That's okay. You're not going to suit everybody. And so go out there, and on the internet, there are so many of these exercises, and they're there for free on YouTube. And just find one with a voice that resonates with you and an exercise that works for you. The main thing is to concentrate on your breath, something that you're doing on autopilot all the time, you now actually become aware of. I'm going to move on, but if there are any questions about this, do put them in and I'll try to answer them at the end if we've got time. And if we don't, what we can do is collect them and perhaps send them out in an email or something like that if you really want an answer to a specific query. Okay, the next one. This is the mindful observation one. Now, normally when I do this in a workplace, we bring in things to observe, and they're things from the natural world. So we may bring in some herbs or some house plants, or maybe bits of fruit. I mean, pineapples particularly. But obviously, we're in a different situation now. So what we can do now is, to do this exercise, we have to observe something natural. And you may choose to enjoy the cloudscape. I mean, I remember somebody put that it was cloudy in Yorkshire. Well, you may have some pretty great clouds to look at then. I've got quite a lot, I must say. Or you may choose a tree out of the window, or a house plant in your own house. Or if there's nothing else, I've got my candle here, which I've put on for this specific purpose. And when we're doing this exercise, I will try and get rid of the PowerPoint so we can have the candle on a lot larger. And you might want to observe the flame. So, but I'm going to explain it first. So it says this exercise is simple but incredibly powerful because it helps you notice and appreciate seemingly simple elements of your environment in a more profound way. It's designed to connect us with the beauty of the natural environment, something that is easily missed when we're rushing around in the car or hopping on and off trains on the way to work. Choose a natural object from your immediate environment and focus on watching it for a minute or two. This could be a flower or an insect or even the clouds or the moon. Okay, so what we got our objects, and the idea is we see trees, we see clouds all the time, but we don't really see them. We don't notice them. We see them on autopilot. We see the tree, but we're actually thinking about the shopping or a job that's got to be done or something like that, yeah? So what we're going to do now for the next couple of minutes is relax into watching your object for as long as your concentration allows. Look at it as if you're seeing it for the very first time, which of course in a way you are. And visually explore all the aspects of its formation. So if it is a plant, look at the shape of the leaves, of the roots, the branches. And I say pineapples are great because they have this amazing structure to them. And think about how it's grown to be that shape. What are the purpose of all the different elements of the object? And allow yourself to connect with its energy and purpose within the natural world. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let you look at my candle. So there is my candle. And for the next 2 minutes, just observe. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Right, and when you're ready, come back to us. So, while people are coming back, I'm having a look at a couple of the comments. Oh, the British Library, we're very fortunate to have a lady who does 2 sessions a week. Okay. So that's, yeah, that's pretty good, that is, isn't it? I'm kind of addicted to meditation, as was mindfulness. Okay. And Jane, have you heard of Inner Space as well? I hadn't heard of them, actually. One thing I will do is, if people are interested in looking at mindfulness further, the FutureLearn and Coursera do a very good course, and it is the same course on both platforms. And it's called Demystifying Mindfulness. It's billed as a 6-week course, but it's actually only 5 weeks, because the 6th week is an optional project. And it's run by the University of Leiden in the Netherlands, who are an excellent institution. And I think that's really good for people who want to take it a bit deeper. Each week is divided into 3 parts. So there's like a bit of an academic look at it, and some of the theories behind it. And then there are the exercises, and then there are conversations with respected mindfulness experts. And to be honest, I personally found the exercises the tough bit, because some of them are a lot longer than I'm used to. But, you know, it may be worth having a look at. And somebody's put up the link to the FutureLearn version of it. Again, it is also on Coursera, but the course is identical. It is the same course. Both of them are run by University of Leiden. Okay, so that was the observation one. A lot of people find that very helpful to them, and it does, as a technique, have a kind of background in world religious faith. So I used to live out in the Far East, and it was very common for like Buddhists to go into the temple and use the expression of the Buddha or one of the bodhisattvas to concentrate their thoughts in meditation. And of course, for example, if you're from a Christian tradition, you could use icons. That might be a way forward. And I actually went to an Islamic session once where the guy was focusing on the calligraphy of the name of God, which I must admit was a little bit abstract for me, but then that's not my tradition, so I wasn't used to it, but that might work for you. So so all of those things are ways you could take this further. But I'm going to try now and use the tech and return to the PowerPoint. And I'm going to warn you, this is the bit where it all goes wrong because we're going to be dealing with sound next. And half the time the sound seems to work and half the time it doesn't. So if it doesn't, Yusuf, shout at me and we'll try and work something out otherwise. But we're going to try and play some sound on microphones off the PowerPoint. Okay. Right. So this is the mindful listening. Now, I'm going to admit this is actually my favorite of the mindfulness exercises. I really find this one powerful. And I'm going to read the blurb and then I'm going to explain it. So it says, this exercise is designed to open your ears to sound in a non-judgmental way, and indeed to train your mind to be less swayed by the influence of past experiences and preconception. So much of what we feel is influenced by past experience. For example, we may dislike a song because it reminds us of a breakup or another period in life when things felt negative. So the idea of this exercise is to listen to some music from a neutral sound point with present awareness that is unhindered by preconception. What does that actually mean? Well, for me, the way I interpret it is this. Many years ago, before mobile phones were widespread, I had to meet somebody in a very large and noisy bus station. And the person I was meeting, who I couldn't contact because we didn't have mobiles, was late, over an hour late. And so I was standing in the prearranged spot, and it was next to a CD stall. And the gentleman who ran the CD stall seemed to think it was a good idea to play one song on loop for the entire hour and more. And so the problem is, whenever I hear that song today, I don't actually hear the song. I am instead transported back to that bus station, and I feel the frustration that I connect with that song. I feel like, where the hell has she got to, kind of thing. Yeah. And that is, and I mean, it could be positive. It could be that, you know, that there was a song that was the first dance at your wedding. And so, you know, you, depending on how the marriage worked out, you either have very happy or very harrowing memories of that, you know. But the fact is, you're not actually listening to the song. You're listening to the memories. You're listening to the thoughts you associate with it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to listen to something neutrally. We're going to actually just hear it. Okay. And it says select a piece of music you've never heard before. I've selected two. I hope you haven't heard them before. And what we're going to do, the first one we're going to just listen to. So it'll probably help if you close your eyes and just listen to it. And then the second one, I'm going to give some further instructions. So. 呼んでいる胸のどこか奥でいつも心躍る夢を見たい悲しみは数えきれないけれどその向こうできっとあなたに会える繰り返す過ちのその旅人はただ青い空の青さを知る私の道は続いて見えるけれどこの両手は光をいたげるさよならの時の静かな胸ゼロになるから
か耳を澄ませる生きてる不思議死んでいく不思議花も風も街もみんな同じ呼んでいる胸のどこか奥でいつも何度でも夢を描こう悲しみの数を言い尽くすのに同じ唇でそっと歌おう閉じたい子を泣いてもその中にいつも忘れたくないささやきを聞くこのこんなに砕かれた鏡の上にも新しい景色が映される始まりの朝の質が流るゼロになるから満たされてゆけ海の彼方にはもう探さない輝くのはいつもここに私の中に見つけられたから
Right. So I hope that song was relaxing for you. Now, I want you to keep your eyes closed. And we're going to play another song. But this time, rather than just listening to it neutrally, I want you to try and explore the track. So climb inside of it. Even if you don't like the music at first, listen to the different dynamics of the instruments. Try and separate them out. What does each one add to the track? Listen to the vocals, the sound of the voice, its range, its tones. And if there's more than one voice, what about the harmonies? So the idea is to become fully entwined with the composition and not to think, just hear.
Искушена через край, льется в небо молоко мой милый, засыпай, завтра ехать на небо, света искать. Еще не выйдем, меняться давай, и ты ли один, я ли нет моя слепа, я тебе не детива, сердце огня. Если знамен, покинешь меня, степями пленен, перед Данилом. Дорожный туман, небесный табун, тяжелый колчан, чужая спина. Полынь до завала, тебе solo tão distingue, mas só recordar. Обручу костра, надежде верна, тебе не сестра, тебе не жена.
Right, and I hope that was useful for some people. I personally find that exercise very, very powerful. Now, the final exercise for today, and I hope we've got time for all of it, is called a body scan. And I said before that breathing exercises were really bread and butter of mindfulness, but actually, body scans are the other one. I mean, virtually any mindfulness course you go on, the body scans seem to be there, so they're very popular. And again, it's one of those where you find the one that suits you. So I had a look online, and I went through countless ones, including the ones that I'd done on that Demystify Mindfulness course, and this is the one that suits me the most. It may not suit you. And this is a very short one. I mean, some of them can be up to an hour long. I mean, they really can be in depth. This is, as I've said before, it's an introduction. It's a taster. But this one is by Barbara Kate Hillard, and it's off. I've taken it on the YouTube address is there if you want to copy it down. But what I want you to do is close your eyes, and we're going to scan our bodies. So this is what a body scan is like.
Welcome to this meditation. We will start this meditation by you getting into a comfortable position. This can either be seated, sat on the floor, or lying down. Get yourself really comfortable. Now start to focus on the breath. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. We're going to try and elongate those breaths. So holding the inward breath for a count of 4 or 5. And then the out breath for an extra 2, so a 5 or 6. Really take the mind into the breath, so thinking only about the breath. Now we'll do a quick body scan. So starting at the toes. Just feeling into the toes, sending the breath there. Noticing any niggles or pains. Just acknowledging it. And working up from the toes into the ankles. Again, noticing anything here that feels different to yesterday or the day before. And just acknowledging it. Send the breath to any areas of discomfort. Working up from the ankles into the calves and the shins. And then from the shins into the knees. Up from the knees into the thighs and the hamstrings. And then working up into the hips. Sending the breath here if there's any uncomfortableness, tightness. And from the hips, working up into the lower back and the stomach area. From the stomach, coming up to the mid-back, rib cage, into the chest, shoulders, and the upper back. And slowly thinking about going down the arms, from the shoulders to the elbows. Always working with a deep, nice, relaxed breath. Down into the wrists and into the fingers. And working from the upper back up into the neck, into the chin area, and the jaw. Paying special attention to relax the jaw. Let the mouth open a little. And relaxing the cheekbones. Going up the face into the eyebrows, relaxing here. Sending the breath to any tension in the forehead. Now I finish this body scan thinking about the top of the head. And just let the whole body relax. Taking the attention back to the breath now. And taking in that deep breath. A count of 4 to 5. And then holding for 2. And then release the breath for 5 to 6 counts. Holding again. 2. Repeating. If the mind starts to wander, just bringing the attention back to the breath. Those counts. Perhaps even trying to elongate the breath times, making them longer, more relaxed. You should start to feel a sense of calm now. A better focus on the moment and the here and the now. When you're ready, start to bring some movement back into the fingers and the toes, becoming more present in the present moment, acknowledging the floor that you're sat on or the chair or lying on. And gently opening the eyes. And getting ready to go about the rest of your day.
Okay, so there we had our first body scan, and that's the end of the session. As you can see, my glitter jar is far settled. I hope your mind is to the point like the glitter jar where we can see through it at the bottom. That's the aim. And thank you for joining me. We have a couple of questions that I've seen. First of all, one's about putting the links up. That's not a problem. YouTubers can do that. Somebody asked about the songs. Now I don't know which songs you're on about, but the second song is by a gang called Melnitzer, and it's called Very Tamerlan. I don't know if anybody spotted the language, but the Russian. The first song is Japanese, and it's off Studio Ghibli anime called Spirited Away. I put that on. What are the best exercises for children with ADHD? Oh, and Jane's already answering those. Any experience of binaural beats? I haven't. I mean, there's loads of stuff. There's loads of stuff online. And what I would say, don't pay for anything because there's so much is free anyway. But yes, that's that. Thank you for teaching. I hope it helped people. I hope it was of some use. As I said before, we will be back. We have more webinars planned. But yeah, there we are. I've disappeared. Okay, well, I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, goodbye. Thank you for going, and I shall see you again soon. And if not before, at the Unionland Conference, albeit digitally. Okay, thank you.